Well, good to see. Good to see. I'm running a little late here. Just got everything together. So here we are again. Did anybody see my Theosophist thing?
That's something I
Hi,
wanted to talk to you
Gustavo.
about.
Hi, John, Mary, Arthur,
Hello,
and
I did see your video. I did see your video.
Mary,
you did. Okay.
I
All
did.
right.
Yeah, that was interesting. Yeah.
Well, yeah, I did that last year, same way, and it worked out. I didn't I people liked it, so I did it again, you know.
It looks like there's a lot of vendors there, a lot of people there.
About 100 vendors, yeah. Let me adjust my light.
I bet you there was only one hippie though.
Yeah.
I watched
Yeah.
it too.
Did you? Okay. Yeah, people were calling me a hippie.
Oh, yeah,
Peace, peace.
yeah.
Psychic fairs, you're going to find a whole range of people in there. Like the one I just did, I could call that a psychic fair because it's just a Theosophical Society. So it's all healers and readers.
well,
And
exactly.
And there, what I thought was interesting was I went through the whole place, which I did last year with my camera too. And if you watch,
Yeah.
you'll see that I talk about the prices. And they were anywhere from $45 to $12 for a 15-minute reading.
Yep.
And they were all busy. So I mean, we're $35, so we're more on the higher end. But the person next to me, she was $20 for a 15-minute reading. And she was busy, but they didn't care. I don't know. I can't understand why. People there, I think that we're going at least to this festival, which is a small festival. It's only 7 hours. So it's just it's a small thing. But there, I think people just
I think that's most of them.
They look at the tent, they look at the reader and say, yeah, I want to get a reading with that person. And I think that's all it was. I don't think nobody was really walking the whole ground shopping around for the best price. I just think they were just this looks good. I want to get a reading here. And they didn't care about the cost. That's what I think is what's going on. And
Have you ever done the Renaissance Fair?
No, a couple other readers I know that I've worked with does. My niece does Renaissance Fair.
God, I think that would be so hardcore.
It's hard to do. We were gonna do it, but the thing is, if you're gonna get a booth in the Renaissance Fair, at least up here by me, you have to be there all summer. They don't want you just renting a booth and not being there every weekend. And we were doing other things, other psychic fairs at stores and stuff like that during the summer. We couldn't make that commitment to do that. Plus, you pay a good buck for the booth, but even if you pay it, they want you there because they don't want an empty booth when people come to the Renaissance Fair. So we never did.
What is it? What is the Renaissance Fair?
They're all over the country, all over the USA.
Yeah, but what is it? What does it entail?
People dress up in Renaissance clothing in that century style, and they have jousting events, and they have all kinds of. It's a big fair that's just all Renaissance, and
it goes for months. It goes for months.
Well, ours in Minnesota were every weekend for a month. They were like 4 weekends in a row, but they were reading for 10 hours a day, and in 95-degree heat.
Yeah.
So
right. Well, yeah, there's a lot of vendors there, Mary. There's a lot of vendors selling crafts, or things like that, and it's a playtime too. Like I went there. I've gone there just as I've never been a vendor there. Like a couple of readers I know that I've worked with were vendors at the one up here in Chicago. And
but they're juried, right? So I mean, there's probably a long waiting list to get in.
Well, I don't think so. We could have got in, but we didn't want to. Like I said, when we found out the details, they said, well, you got to be here every weekend. And we thought, oh, well, we can't do that. We can't be here every weekend. So it wasn't, if you want to pay the money, yeah, you can get in there. But I want to say hi to Stephen, Gilda. Good to see you again. And
Hi. Ivan.
Karen, Ethan, Gustavo,
How's it
John.
going, Vince? How's it going, everybody?
Hi.
Hey, what about
Hi.
Yvonne? Yvonne
Hey,
just
Will.
got,
Hey, there I am. Hi, guys.
Hey,
Yvonne made it through surgery.
Yeah.
how's your hand doing, Yvonne?
It's doing okay. It's
Good.
doing okay. I'm learning how to use my left hand, so now I have 2 right hands.
You're ambidextrous.
Yeah, I'll share with that
Yeah, it's
often we've in the ice, we've fallen 1,001 times, sometimes just explosions. That learning to turn into a ball immediately the moment that you're sensing to fall, which is martial artists and military people learn to do, is extremely helpful. If not, our own impetus is to use our hands to stop the fall, and that's why we get hand and wrist injuries.
big time.
Okay.
So practicing how to fall and making it habitual will save you bones.
That's what happens when you let down your ninja guard.
See?
Yeah,
That's
but
right.
it's always, you always afterwards, isn't it? It's already happened then and afterwards. And it doesn't always go down, because when I broke the first one, and about 4 weeks later, I stepped outside, I told you, and I missed my step. And I tried to catch the other one, not injure the one that was already broken. And then I broke that one on top of it. So there was no way it's going to roll up like a ball. So I had 2 of them.
Another thing you could do as you're falling,
Yeah.
as you're falling down, quickly grab your cards and see what the cards have to say about how to fall, what to put out.
I didn't have to ask the cards. I knew what was happening. Oh my God, it was crazy. And the worst part about it was I had to wait 2 weeks before they would do surgery. I broke 3 bones in my hand and I chipped one.
Oh gosh.
That's
And so-
long, Yvonne. Why is that?
Maybe he was
Well,
on vacation. I don't know.
Yeah,
But
there's
you know
always
what?
someone else, isn't there? I went straight
Apparently
in
not.
and they hung all weights on them, and I was on weights for about 7 hours, and then they took me straight into the surgery.
But I'll tell you
So-
what, it builds character. I was in agony. I swear to God, you guys, every
Yeah.
day for the 2 weeks, there wasn't one day that I didn't break down and cry because, I
Yeah,
thought,
I can
"Oh,
imagine.
okay, end of the day, I'm almost through the day. And all of a sudden it's like, yeah, it hurts.
Yeah.
Did they give you
I thought-
anything for pain?
The first time, yes. When I actually went to urgent care, because I was tough. I didn't go to the ER
Yeah.
because I figured, ER is for people who are dying. I'm not dying. I just have broken hands. Big deal. But anyway, they did give me pain medicine that, it helped a little bit. But I guess, when your bones are kind of just hanging around and smashing into your nerve endings and all that, it's pretty painful. But
Yeah, bones are painful.
yeah, but here's
Yeah.
the good part. Here's the good part, you guys. When I went into surgery last Wednesday, the doctor said to me, he goes, okay, he goes, so we fixed it. It's going to mend. He goes, right now your arm is numb, but after the numbing wears off, it's going to be extreme pain for a few days and it will get better. Honest to God, I got home and I was waiting for the
Didn't
pain.
happen. Didn't happen.
The numbness went away and I was still waiting. And I'm waiting. It's like, wow.
You got used to it.
Well,
Yeah.
lots of
Now,
times
that
that'll
tells
happen.
you
The doctor-
something about
Okay.
what doctors tell you that
Yeah.
program you.
Yeah.
May
Well,
be
let
the
me tell you.
bones- It may be the bones heal on their own without surgery. I had a crack on my lower spine and I never knew when I was a child. I was doing ballet at 13. I did a split and oh my God, I felt this huge pain. And I walked like a hunchback for like 3 months, going to school, playing. And I still went to my dance class and I utilized my posture, the muscles as a cast, and constantly stretched them and so on, and I healed it. I never knew. That's people said, "Oh, you pulled the muscle. You pulled the muscle."
Mm-hmm.
One day in some X-ray or something, they said, "Oh, you have a fracture in your somewhere down there in the coccyx." And I go, "Oh," and then I'm thinking, where could that have come from? And that's what it was. So there's many ways to go about the mandala.
Yeah, I believe that's true. I believe that's true.
It's a little hard to shuffle with one hand, but you manage.
Oh, yeah.
It really brings
they have these little machines you put your cards in and they shuffle.
Oh, well, no, it really brings full circle to that term that Patricia here uses, throwing cards, literally.
Yeah.
And there's also a teaching to that, meaning that I was on it every time I was using my foot, I couldn't, in dance class, I couldn't use it in a way which wasn't aligned. So that taught me to realign. So Yvonne, I invite you to embrace some sort of alignment that's coming to that. It just hit you like a tower.
Yeah, you guys want to hear something really funny?
And if we ignore that realignment, it can show up again.
Yeah, well, trust me, I learned my lesson, and I have to tell you guys this one last thing about this, and then we can go back to cards.
Never go back to cards.
I was holding my phone when I went down.
Yeah.
Now, I don't know when I finally let go of my phone, but I had it in my hand, and I was going down with the phone.
Oh gosh.
It's kind of like that old joke, I had my beer in my hand, and I fell down, but my beer never fell out of my hand.
That's funny.
Yeah, but it's all good. I'm on the mends, and
well, that's good to hear.
You got your hand on the pulse. You were holding your phone versus your own being. Wow.
Yeah.
We are flabbergasted.
That's funny. That's good.
Okay, but at the end of the month, I will be at the Northwest Tarot Symposium.
Good.
Yeah.
What are you doing there?
I'm going to be a vendor.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and Mary Greer is going to be there.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and here's the cool part, guys. Apart from being, a vendor, because you have to be, you apply for it. If you get it, good job. If you don't get it, next time, right? Well, I was surprised I got it, and I found out that because I'm a vendor, I can go to the different keynote speakers to see the different keynote speakers when I'm there. I just have to have somebody minding my shop while I go and see.
Oh, that is so. How much did that cost you?
The booth was kind of pricey. It was $250.
Yeah.
$250 or $2,500?
For one day? One day?
No, for the whole weekend. I beg your pardon. It was $275 for the whole weekend.
That is not bad.
It's Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. 3 days.
I have the same. I pay the same.
I might try to go to that. Where is it
You
at?
should.
What
well, it's going to be in Portland.
Okay, so it's by you.
Yeah, well,
Oregon,
relatively
you're
speaking, I
Seattle.
got a 3-hour drive.
Okay.
So,
is this the one you missed? Is this the one you missed last time? Because of your fall?
No. The other one is the Alchemy Fair, and that's done here in Washington State, and that's very cool. A lot of people go there, and I mean, I've been there as a just as a looky-loo, and it's really cool because I mean they have hundreds of vendors, all different sorts, but mostly metaphysical stuff, right? But that one happened, and then we have another one. We have quite a few of them up here. There's a lot of woo-woo.
Yeah, they don't have nothing over here in Chicago like that no more.
Yeah, we have a lot of festivals and stuff. We have the Pacific Northwest Witches Fair, and that's always really fun too. And so yeah, but this one should be fun. It's it's the first big one for me. So
Yvonne, don't miss the hospitality rooms. Look for the hospitality rooms, because that's where you and Mary Kay Greer can sit down on the couch together and discuss. you know,
trust
over
me.
America.
I will be stalking her. Don't worry.
You and everybody else.
Yeah, I was going to say, you won't be the only one.
That's when the phone will come in handy. We'll do the selfie. I swear I'll post it.
Yeah,
I
you and
wonder if
everybody
she's
else is gonna be
related to
stalking.
Michael Greer, the esoteric how should I say a mystic that's written many books, Michael Greer. I wonder if they're related. Obviously, they're from the same country or background lineage, but I'm not sure if they're related.
Oh no. I'll have to Google that as soon as I get out of here.
Yeah.
Or I could do it now if I had another hand.
There's a Morgan Greer tarot deck too. That's another Greer.
I have a first edition, and Yvonne, if I send it to you, maybe you can get her to autograph it. I was
So you
thinking,
better send it quick. It's on the 29th.
oh my God,
Yeah.
What a first edition of what?
Mary Kay, the Morgan Greer deck.
Yeah, but that's not Mary Kay Greer's deck.
I thought it was.
No, I don't think so.
I'll be right back.
Okay.
I don't think that's
I
Morgan
I don't
Greer.
think so either. I don't
Yeah,
think so.
that's not the same Greer.
Oh, well, I still have a first edition of it.
So they both begin with M. M. Greer.
Oh yeah, well, yeah, they're both. Well, Morgan, I don't know. I think Morgan Greer, I think it's two people.
There's Bill Greer here on the
What does it say?
Okay. See?
Bill.
Morgan Greer Tarot. Yeah. Gustavo has a picture.
It says illustrated by Bill Greer, and I don't know who the Morgan person is, but we'll find out right now.
Who's this Morgan guy?
Bill,
Yeah,
Bill Greer and Lloyd Morgan.
Bill Greer. I don't know who the other guy is or girl is. I don't know.
Okay.
Oh
Did
yeah,
they
it says
say
here.
that?
God,
No.
all this time I thought, who knew, you know.
No,
knew?
that wasn't Greer's deck. She never made a
No.
deck.
Anyway,
I wanted
beautiful
to
deck.
share about, sometimes when people have videos about my 10 favorite decks or, and then they go down the list to the number 1. I've
Yeah.
written several 10 tarot, the tarot versus oracle, separate the two. And it's very curious. I wanted to talk about that because each deck, regardless of whether it's an old deck, like the one that we always wonder about, the one Vince uses, which is really primordial, but definitely holds one of the most available containers for this, where the whole thing began.
Yeah, BP Grimmett.
Yeah, you can't. The thing about it is, for example, that Rider-Waite Smith is so popular and so on because it has that container and has been available to people to get when they start playing games with marketing and not, and they change this and then the edition 2 doesn't have what it one had. It becomes an obstacle to the actual availability of that to most people, which is what gives it its historical context. So one must look into that about the marketing versus what the product actually displays.
It's always funny whenever they take a deck and they adapt something else to it or refine it. Usually the first one, original, is one that's still always the standard. Like the Rider-Waite. This is the Rider-Waite. And then they came out with the universal weight and the radiant weight and the golden rider and all these other decks and there's always the main one.
It waters down
the
potency that's originally embedded in the deck. Now, one thing is cleaning up lines or something from the printing that was,
right.
Perhaps a bit not there. But it just becomes this parade, this carnival of, and then people become not confused. They can't, well, you know, and then they go desires and pulls, and it is an antecedent to what the whole thing is all about. And not to consider that and to go with a herd all the time is a deficit in the way, in what the gift and key of tarot is all about.
I agree. You know, it's funny with the Rider deck, because I got one right here.
There's always the bandwagon. Oh, this is new. Let's look at the new, because this is, but
This is the Rider deck here. By it's just, back then they just called them tarot cards. You know, back in the 70s and 60s. This must be the 60s. And I got a lot of other decks that are just called tarot cards. You know, they don't want to call what kind of tarot cards. They're just tarot cards. But this is by University Press. This is not US Games. This is the US Games that everybody knows. This is the Rider deck before US Games came out with it. It's called the University. It's just called tarot cards. And the color is so bad on it. Here's the backs. But the color is so bad on these. Like, look, his shawl here is just supposed to be blue. It's just a lot of black in there. And it's really bad, really bad. They did a terrible job with the color breaks. Magician, you can barely see her in there. And some of them are really bad. And it never took off. It just never. Then US Games came out with it, and it was a lot better. You can't really show you justice with this on the camera, but some of them are really bad. And so just bad news.
point being that a quality product, the quality of the printing and the cards will stand the test of time.
Yeah, and these are, and they're not, they don't slide good. They don't slide good at all. You know, look at, I'm trying to slide them right here. See how they slide? They just all clump together. But
I came across I don't know if you're familiar with, it's called the Bacchus Tarot by Vander. I'm not at my desk right now. Let me see. And at the beginning, we're very thankful to you for using the Marseille deck, because we're never quite, available for Marseille. We like, so we really appreciate that you brought that into perspective and gave it legitimacy. So
yeah, I still like.
Yes, it definitely has magic to it. So the Vanderboer Bacchus Tarot is called. Here it is.
Oh yeah, that's a Marseille.
Now I had that since forever, and the quality of the cardstock is not. It's what it is. It's cardboard cut up, but it's. I just go like that. All this shuffle and all this fancy display. I don't know. It's up to what you're up to, choreography, but it doesn't. It may not be the cards have, because the times they were created and the whole thing, they carry a container, and that container is either timeless or revealing or whatever it is. So we picked them up again, and oh my God, it was like a jewel. So
neat.
Thank you for bringing the Marseillaise to our field of reference.
I have you're welcome, Gilda. But I wanted to also mention here, Stephen Bass just asked a question. Do you know Richard Knight? Your keywords are very similar. No, I don't know. Don't know him.
Very cool.
Whoever Richard Knight is. Somebody asked me that once before. Might have been you.
He's British, and he is very, very popular. He's a tarot reader, and he has an academy.
Does he?
Yeah, he has an academy, and yeah, he's pretty cool. I like him. I found him like during the pandemic as well.
Okay.
And yeah, he's got a good way about him. You know, check him out.
I will. I'll check him out.
Yes,
Yeah.
I'm actually in his academy.
Oh yeah, yeah, good.
I am, yeah.
Oh.
And he did
I think-
actually recommend a couple of books to me. One of them was Radical Tarot. I don't know who wrote it.
Radical Tarot.
About 20 minutes ago, I had one delivered by Amazon. This little book here.
There you
Oh
go.
yeah, yeah.
Oh yeah, that's the
Yeah.
good book too.
It only came about half an hour before you started, so I thought I'd come on and have a look. And I will be looking at all the other books as well, because, like I say, you are very, very similar. And
All right.
you both use the Marseille as well. It's very like there's two people there that can bounce off. That
Yeah.
are very
Now,
good card reading.
does Richard Knight use the Marseille, or does he use all sorts of different decks?
He does, yeah, using the Marseille, the
Does he?
original tarot. Yeah.
Yep.
the
Oh, I
Florence.
gotta have to talk with him.
You
Yeah.
like him.
You know,
I think
the
you
thing
would
is-
get
over in
along.
America. He
Yeah, I
does
think
a
we
lot in
would.
America as well.
Here's the thing. Here's what's going to happen. Anybody in your brain is going to work this way. You read a bunch of stuff about each card. You could read pages of stuff about it, and
Yeah.
after you're done reading, you're going to think, okay, now what does this? What does it mean? And you're going to come up with a word.
That's right, yeah.
So your brain works that way. Or you're going to come up. Well, this card actually means inspiration, and then, that's what you're going to do, because you read all this stuff. You're going to condense it all down so you can memorize it, and try to come up with a meaning for it. So I think we all do that anyway.
Have you ever heard of Uri Geller?
Yeah.
Huh?
Uri Geller, because let's say Richard Knight is best friends with Uri Geller.
Oh, Uri Geller, yeah.
Yeah.
Uri
I
The
don't
Geller.
know.
spoon bender.
The spoon bender, yeah.
Come on, Vince, you know who he is.
He flies over America and finds oil and makes millions.
Oh, really?
He finds gold mines and things like that.
Right on.
Oh,
Well, that's
I
kind of
didn't
cool.
know that.
Actually, I was
Well, it
surprised that he was still alive.
Yeah.
Well, I think he's 70 odd just before
Yeah.
Christmas.
Right.
But
It
so
just
you think he just does spoons, but he's made tens of millions just flying over land with helicopters, and they paid him millions to say, well, there's oil there, or there's
He's pretty
tin.
cool too.
It's got to be metallic, but he finds mines. He's just bought an island off the coast of England, actually, called Bird
Oh.
Island. He's bought himself his own
Nice.
little island. But no, so Richard Knight, though, and
Sure.
yourself, the meanings are so close. It's not saying that, obviously.
No, I
you
know.
have to come
Yeah,
up with the
no,
meanings
I know.
yourself.
I know. Yeah, I'm gonna have to check them out and talk with them.
But
See, just to
everything you
say-
do,
Yeah, I'm sure it would
I've
be
seen- I've seen
fun
it in
to
the
talk.
academy.
Be fun to talk with them.
yeah, there's
Sorsha.
thousands of people in his
Hi,
academies.
Sorsha. Hi, Sorsha. Yeah. Oh.
Yeah, I wanted to mention that, if our purse was endless, we would get all the books and examine them and so on, but that's not the case at the moment. So we are strapped to listening to Petici. So definitely hear your spreads, which is where you excel in reading symbology. Let's say organizing the way that you have spread out all your wisdom, a spread book just would be. I keep thinking, I keep imagining that would be something where you can develop and bring in all the little ends that are all around all your different books.
Well, that's
Because
what.
they are interesting. They are, your conceptual blending, seven
Right.
has, have 4, 3, 2, 1. They're all very succinct and pertinent at any time. They're universal. So, and there you get to play. with what it is that you've brought in for your however many years of using it, which carry the wisdom. And if they want particularities, they can go to all your other books.
Well, yeah, that's interesting, Gilda, because my next book, I started it a couple times and I broke away from it, but I'm going to go back to it. It's going to be on the application. It's not going to be about card meanings. It's going to be about the importance of the application and the spreads and why they're so important to have a good spread, and where that's really, I think, is the whole key to the reading, is what questions are you asking? And understanding that it's card spread is your question broken apart into sections. And that's really what it is. It's what it's supposed to be anyway, as far as I'm concerned. And I think that if you know that, and you know the importance of the spread, I think it really helps you achieve a better reading. And to sort of show why it's important and explaining that, I think would be a nice book to have. And that's what that's what I'm working on. And I also want to talk about how we got sidetracked with 100 years ago or so with getting away from the spread and focusing more on the deck of cards, with the powers in the cards and the symbolism and all this other stuff. And I don't think that that's it at all. And one thing that sort of confirms that, to me anyway, is creative consultants today, which are advisors that predict the future on something, usually businesses, and they're the ones making money, not us. They're making money, and they get hired by big projects. But you know, you talk about breaking a card spread up, breaking a question apart in the sections. We see it all the time, just even on television. We see it. If you look at, you're watching some Criminal Minds or some police show, and they'll show it in the office. They got a diagram on the chart with all these different things going on in there. That's a map. It's a visual map. That's a card spread. It's the same thing. You want to analyze any question, you got to break it apart into sections like that. You're looking for a criminal, okay? Description, motive, location, different connections or whatever kind of connections you can. Those are all sections of the puzzle you're looking to try to piece together here, and that's what a card spread is doing. It's piecing, putting it out into sections and piecing things together and looking at things in specifically individual. And that's what helps you find answers. And that's what we're doing.
But I'll add that all those creative consultants may be busy doing that, making money, but the tarot card reader has something that they haven't got. And because they're not training in that, symbols are part of it. They're not to be discarded, because that's like saying I speak 10 languages, but but to help you, I'm going to get rid of all those 10 languages and see what's showing up. But it's all interdependently arranged. So the more that you carry, the more expansive your ability to use that creative thinking. So the symbology behind the tarot is not just, it's stupid symbols. They are keys. So to include those keys in the way, and all of the other facets that you have come upon that not too many tarot readers will use, that's the in-between space where you're a master at. But you haven't quite, you haven't kind of send it like an arrow, because you're in the tarot versus the creative thinking they make millions, but in reality you're that bridge.
Yeah,
able to have both because it's more whole. The wholeness is more there versus, oh, I'm just a creative one end or the other. You're creating a wholeness to it, which then becomes classic because it's integrated.
Well, thank you. But I will say one thing that I think is interesting to see is I appreciate your words, but by the way, but the thing is, I think that what I like to see also is I know creative consultants do value a lot on intuition too, and they look into it, and they're just as curious about it as we are. And one of them talked with a CIA or an FBI person. I forgot what it was. And we're talking about intuition. I said, well, how do you explain your intuition? Your when you get these gut feelings or this strange knowledge that you don't know how you got it, how do you determine what that is? What is that? And how do you know you're using it? He says, it's just a gut feeling. He says, sometimes you got to make a quick decision. He says, in order to identify if you're using intuition, to show you what intuition's about, he says, let's say you had to make a choice right now. I'm going to do this. I'm going to go forward down this path, or I'm not. I'm going to stop it. And you're going to flip a coin. And if it comes up head, I'm going to go down that path. If it comes up tails, I'm not going to go down the path. Heads I go, tails I don't. I flip the coin in the air, and it's tails, which means I'm not supposed to go down the path. But I go down the path anyway. That's intuition. Because you made an agreement with yourself. Okay, I'm going to make a decision here. Tails, I'm not going to go down that path. And you flip the coin and it comes up tails and you say, nah, I got to go down. That's a way of looking at your own intuition just for that second. You're just seeing it.
Oh, trusting your gut.
Yeah, right. And it's the same feeling.
Is that like the judgment card coming up where you're being called in that direction? It's almost like a call.
Well, a judgment is you're agreeing on a judgment. You're agreeing on a decision of saying, okay, heads I go down a path, tails I don't, But then you go against your own agreement.
More like
I told myself I wasn't going to do this, but I'm going to do it anyway.
Intuitive.
That's when you have nothing else to go on. So it must be because of my intuition so strong. I want to do it.
Well, that's when spiritual maturity comes in. If you on a cleanup and transcendent spirit path of evolution, then those choices become apparent and they're the right ones. Like I do muscle testing, I do pendulum work, so I have several checkpoints versus I'm going to go with my intuition, or I'm going to go with my instinct, or I'm going to go. And since I do dream work, another way of doing it is going to your unconscious while dreaming. You say, oh, okay, I'm going to check to see if my decision to go against what flipped in your coin, what does it have to say about that? So it's all about how in tune one is with their inner intelligence and how much they have cultivated it. And that is key. The rest are just variables you're playing around with.
But I think also key is, and this is what I try to explain when other people ask me about, intuition, imagination, whatever it is, it's trust and it's belief. So I choose, I try to explain it as I see this movie running across my forehead. And, it could be my imagination going wild, right? Which would be the non-esoteric way of looking at it, using that for cards. Or it could be spirit putting that movie in my forehead, and I'm seeing, going, oh, okay, this card usually means this, but you know what? I'm taking it in this direction because this is what I'm seeing. This is what's rolling in my head. And I think that I really think that the key is having belief or having faith in what you're seeing and going with what you're seeing. So if in my head my intuition is showing me a picture of me going down that road, even though even though regular everyday things say don't do it, I think that's following and having faith in your intuition or your imagination or spirit.
A good way to recognize intuition to me is it's like it before you even knew you were thinking about it.
Yeah.
I mean, I know the answer to something. I'm not even looking for the I'm not even looking I don't even have the question in my head yet. But as soon as it pops into my head, I know what the answer is. I wasn't looking for it. It came to me. It just came. I don't think you could reach out and grab intuition as much as people. I mean, yeah, you gotta be able to coax it to you. And maybe some people can just willfully grab it out of it, I don't know anybody well, I shouldn't say that. I know people who claim that that's what they're doing. And I think that that's what they believe they're doing, but I just think they have a great imagination.
What about kids?
And they're friends of mine. So, I mean, what's that, Sorcha?
What about kids and animals? I mean, isn't it more about that hunch? And I was agreeing with what you were saying, Lynn. I mean, I'm agreeing with both of you, actually, where Lynn was talking about the images, and I was thinking that's your gut,
Yep.
Is your gut giving you images? Yeah. So this is animal instinct. This is like without the prefrontal cortex, modern brain. This is deep.
Yeah.
And kids have got it immediately, and animals have got it, but we can forget it, although we don't. Like you say, we feel it.
Yeah. Well, that's just it. You're born with it. And then we train ourselves not to use it.
Yeah. Isn't it something like you'd say sixth sense?
Sure.
Yeah.
You're born with it, but you don't learn it. You don't learn to develop it in school and in our daily lives. Your parents don't tell you develop this. And if you're talking to an imaginary person as a child, your parents are telling, that's silly. There's nobody there. You shouldn't be talking. And so and in school you're taught to use the other side of the mind. You're not taught to develop that. When I was a kid, I remember that I could smell trouble. I knew I was going to get into trouble that day. I didn't know how, but I knew, oh shit, it's going to happen today. Something's going to happen. I'm going to get into trouble today. And it would happen. So, I mean, I didn't know what it was going to be, but I was going to do something that's going to be getting my parents mad, So, and I could smell that. I could just sense it, not smell like an odor, but it was in
itchy
the air.
nose.
It was in the air. Yeah, right.
Yeah.
It was in the air. I better be careful today because I'm going to get in trouble for some reason here.
Were you able to avoid?
Huh?
Were you able to use your intelligence that's telling you that in order to mitigate or avoid that which you knew was coming?
Yeah, I think you could. And maybe I might have. But I wasn't going to go home and go hide in my bedroom. But I think I might have tried to be more careful. I might have been able to beat it. I don't remember if I did or not. You're a kid, you don't remember those things. But I do. I look back now and I could look and say, little things like that I remember. Here's something else I used to remember. I want to that this how when you're a kid, remember when you're a kid, you lay around. Sometimes you're sleeping on the floor. You're just laying there and you fall asleep. You're a kid, and I remember doing that, and it felt like my body would get puffy. And I was laying there half asleep, and it was a weird feeling. I didn't know what it was, And what it was my astral body basically coming a little bit out of myself. And you can't tell that to your parent. You don't know anything about that stuff. So you go to your mom and say, Mom, I feel puffy. You know, yeah, well, don't worry, you're not puffy. Don't go back, go play.
No, then they call the priest to come exercise you.
Yeah, right. But I remember
Put you on the
that.
scales.
Yeah.
I remember that, and you don't know how to explain it. You know?
Yeah, no, I had that feel. I had that too, and I was
Yeah.
probably about, I don't know, maybe 11.
Okay, I was young. I was probably like 4 or 5, but
Yeah, that was like 11, and it was like, okay, so who do you tell? Nobody.
yeah, because you
Don't
happen to
tell
me.
anybody.
It would
Who
happen to me all
believes
the
you?
time.
Who believes you? No one. I was always told, oh, it's her again with the fantasy. Here she comes again with the fantasy. So who believes you?
Well, that's just it. You know, we don't, but we don't. We should be developing that and encouraging it more
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
the children, because you're born with it, and it's like a muscle that we never develop. And you imagine if you develop that.
No, my poor mom, she had to deal with me sleepwalking and to the point to, yeah, oh yeah, no, I used to sleepwalk, and to the point to where they put this latch lock thing on the top of the door where I couldn't reach it, because I would walk, I'd get up, and I'd walk in the living room, eyes open and everything. And everybody would look at what's wrong with her. And so I'd walk to the door and I'd try to open the door and I would stand there. My mom would just say, you tried to do it again. I go, what did I do? You stood there and you were pulling the door and it wouldn't open. And we told you to go to sleep. And eventually you stopped and you turned around and you went back to your room.
Oh gosh.
Creepy.
Yeah. Yeah.
Hey, Vince and everybody, I've got a question.
Okay.
If you'd like
yeah,
to know about. What do you feel about you know, kind of elitism in tarot? Like, first of all, okay, I'm gonna make this I'm gonna try to organize my ideas, because I have a few things to say. First of all, I have to thank you, Vincent, for your teachings. I watched a few of the videos, and it was very helpful. You know, the keywords and the spread. I never tried a Celtic cross before, and now I have, and it really opened up my confidence and everything.
Well, that's
so
wonderful.
it was great. So I gotta say that first of all, and I think you are the individual actually that unlocked that, like as you saying, yeah, as it was predicted. I agree. Okay, that
well, thank you.
That being said, I watched your video and you recommended printing out a card to give out to a possible customer, and I did. I designed a card and I showed it to somebody, and they didn't agree that I would somebody that's into tarot as well, and they didn't agree that that I should advertise. For example, I do parties or festivals or bachelor's parties or corporate events.
Yeah.
I see no problem with that. But this person was saying, no, you don't look serious like that. You look like I don't know, like I don't know how to say it, but charlatan maybe, or just like a fair, and I sense some kind of elitism between, like just throwing cards and reading and giving advice and saying, well, I see you've been in a period of change and blah blah blah, and I see there's some sort of elitism from people that want to put the archetype in it, or Jungian psychology, or something more ethereal, and I just wanted to know your thoughts on that. Like, is there really a different, like a people's marketplace kind of tarot? I don't think higher sophisticated tarot. What would you think about that?
I think that the best thing you could do is be your intent. It's not so much your looks, but your intent is going to come out right away, and people are going to know it right away. So you just be you, if you like to wear a hat, if you like to wear a t-shirt, or if you want to wear a suit, doesn't make any difference. Matter of fact, I'd rather see the person with the hat and the t-shirt than somebody in a suit. So whatever you want to, whatever you don't have to try to intentionally look strange, or just be what makes you happy. That's who you are. That's who you be. Be proud of who you are. This is me, and I'm gonna here to see if I can give you some answers. I'm here to help you, and they're gonna know as soon as you throw down one card and you open up your mouth, they're gonna know that you're coming from the right space. They're not going to care about what you look like. They're not going to. I know people who dress. It's all theatrics. I know people wear top hats and capes and stuff. You don't need any of that. If you like to wear it, fine. I got poet shirts and things like that. I got that stuff. I don't wear it anymore. But it all depends on where I was. If I was working, if I was a party, if I'm working at a party where that was supposed to be part of the routine, then that's fine. But I don't think appearance is important as much as I mean, as long as you're clean.
I actually have a little story that might help you in that. My husband, he's retired now, but they used to build yachts, big pleasure yachts.
Okay.
And they were in the yard there, and there was these guys came, and a few with suits on and very posh and everything. And the big boss said, "Well, I'll go and help them." And then there's two other young lads came in, and they had slacks on and t-shirts, modern t-shirts, and fuzzy hair and everything. He said, "You go and see what they want, because they must probably not want anything." Well, it turns out the ones in the suits and that, they bought a yacht, say, for 100,000 euros then. And the two guys my husband talked to, they were the sons of a Greek multi-millionaire, and they ordered a yacht. I think it was about 6 million it cost.
Yeah, you
So
can't tell. You can't tell.
You cannot see on the outside what's on the inside.
Right.
And if you go like that, then you're never going to get honesty.
Well, I do know that there's nothing wrong. You know, I will say that I agree with you, Mary. You can't tell, but to Gustavo, you know, is if what you're wearing makes you happy, or feels like this is me, that's great. I think it's great. And, and I think that's who you should be, and not try to be somebody else.
Right. But my question is more, yeah, well, yeah, of course, what you wear and how you present yourself, it's important. Like you said, clean, good breath, I don't know. But yeah. I was talking, or I'm wondering more about the kind of tarot itself, you know, like if there is like a more sophisticated tarot. Some people try to think try to present it like that, like, oh, I don't predict the future, you know, those are bad questions. Or, you know, like tarot is for, you know, I don't know, inspecting yourself and, you know, the archetype.
Okay.
You know.
Oh, okay. I see what you're saying.
And for your card.
The other, like fortune telling or something was cheap, or you know what I mean, or like a fraud. I don't, or not serious. You
were talking about what went on your business card. You were advised, you had somebody who said, "Oh, don't put that you do parties and that sort of stuff." That was your concern, wasn't it? Again, he said that you wouldn't be taken seriously if you put that you did that sort of stuff.
I see what you're saying.
And you're thinking about elitism. Yeah.
Yes, as opposed to if I said I do evolutive tarot, or I don't know, you know, something more that looks more, I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah, you know, that is a great question, because I've often thought about the same thing, Gustavo. Because, you know, I've seen so many other business cards, you know, when I go to those fairs, I pick up everybody's cards, and some of the cards are like, oh my God, they're like books. They have so many things on it. And it's like, wow, okay, so is it necessary to tell everybody that I'm a minister, I can marry, I can baptize, I can read your tarot, I can read the color of your aura? I mean, how much is too much? I think that's the question.
I think a good way to do it with the whole thing is, what's a business card for? In order to give somebody a business card, you have to meet them to begin with. So they already saw you face to face, and you give them your card. You say, here's my card. A card to me had all it had on there was contact information, and then maybe 3 things on there what I do: corporate events, house parties, phone readings, tarot reader. Tarot reader right in the front of the card, and that's what I do: corporate events, house parties, phone readings. And I just give them the card. You want to get in touch with me? Here. Now they know how to get in touch with me. That's the only purpose of this card. Basically, I'm not a dentist. I'm a tarot reader, you know. And this is my phone number on here. And that's all.
Can I make a suggestion? I gave up cards a long time ago, but what I do now, or what I will do again, I got postcards, 4x6 postcards, and Vistaprint does them really inexpensively. And you make it really clear who you are and what you're doing, and contact. But I did that on one half of the card. The other half of the front of the card, I listed out all the fairs that I had signed up for. I mean, I would sign up months in advance for some of these things, but I would list them on there, and then I'd leave these on my table, and people would take them instead of taking a business card, like Yvonne was saying, and then tossing it when you're done. People would actually put that up on their refrigerator door, so they knew when the next event was going to be.
Good idea, sure.
It's a way to keep people, from, but you can also, you have a little bit more room that you can say, hey, and I have a little blurb that I do. It's like, are you looking for, or have you ever wondered, blah, 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 so that they know what kinds of things that they can come to me for.
Well, what's nice about that is you got like a flyer / business card. You got a flyer there plus your contact information. Card, you got these in your wallet, but as far as something like what you're talking about, if you got something, you lay on the table.
You can print those. I mean, They're easy enough to print by hand, print at home, which I've done. But I highly, highly recommend not printing. If you're going to be a professional, don't print your business cards on an inkjet. Don't do that. No. You pay them $18 for 100 cards and get them done at Vistaprint, because someone's going to set a cup of coffee down, or they're going to spill a glass of water on it, or something's going to happen, and it's going to run all over the place, and it just looks so unprofessional. So if you don't have a laser printer, then you should definitely, either take them into Office Depot, or I use, Vistaprint's $18 for 100. So.
Well, the other thing with a business card too, you can't trim them. You can't trim them to this size. You could buy
but you can buy them. You can buy them already on the paper.
Yeah, but you could tell that they're
I have simple ones.
You can tell that they're perfed on the edges.
Yeah.
This is sliced. You want that.
Yeah.
You're right.
Guys, I just have simple ones. Do you see mine?
Yeah.
I have made a photo of all my cards, and I have put around it says Mary Cordeman's card readings. And in the middle, it has my phone number.
That reminds me, Mary, of something else that I've seen. And I do believe it was Barbara Moore that did it. I saw it at a local Minneapolis event. And that was, she took, and I think she has her own cards, so she's done her own cards. She takes a card and has a sticker, right? A nice sticker, though. Put in the center of it on tarot cards, and then hands out the tarot cards.
Yeah, but I just made my own photos of different cards that I have, and
that's neat.
I have the photo, a thick photo paper, and I just printed it out, and I just have it on the table when there, and lots of people take them. It's simple, and it doesn't need to say all that much. I just my phone number so that they can get me on WhatsApp or on the phone.
Yeah, I just created some just the other day, and I kept it super simple. because aside from doing tarot, I also do intuitive art. I'm an artist. So basically I just use the logo of my studio, my art studio. And then on top, I just wrote psychic readings, intuitive art. And on the bottom, my website, you know, and that's pretty simple. And then on the back flip side of it, again, I just wrote, you know, psychic readings, intuitive art. And then I had a couple of icons, little tiny icons. One was a sage. One was 3 little cards, 3 little tarot cards. And the other one was a palette with a paintbrush. And, you know, it's simple. It's, you know, it's not hard to read. I mean, if you're at a psychic fair, I mean, it's kind of obvious what you're looking for, right? You want somebody to read a card, or you want to buy whatever, you know, maybe you want to buy crystals, but you're gonna see that and you're gonna just go with it. I mean, that's my thought, you know.
Well, I think that well, you're double whammy. I mean, you are this creative intuitive, but then you are an artist as well. And I just see, and as the longer I've done this and the longer I've created booths, the longer or rearranged my booths or improved my booths or thumbnails for my YouTube channel, I have discovered that people, I mean, I can look at business cards and go, what the hell do they do? You know, same with the retractable signs at the events. It's like there's so much on them. It's like, well, I don't know what I'm supposed to come to them for. And I think just keeping stuff really blocked and simple and stating, here is what I do, you know, and let people know what to come to you for, I think is really important. I just see so much fancy dancy stuff that you don't even know what it's for.
Well, and I think that was kind of the whole idea with the initial question is like, well, what the heck do I put on my card, and what's too much and what's not enough, you know, and I'm going to try this. I'm keeping it super simple and see what happens, you know. I mean, you know, they might end up picking their teeth with my cards, which it could happen. But I feel you fix that because I made sure that the corners are rounded.
Oh, there you go.
You'll show them that now. But you know, it's people are going to come to your booth. They're going to see what you are, what you got. If you're just a reader, you know, and not just, but if you're only reading and you're not, you know, selling crystals or jewelry or whatever, then they know. I mean, that's like, okay, that's who I want to go to or not, you know. And again, it's going to be like Vince said, the intent, your energy, you know, you prepare before you go, right? And before you start reading, you're not just going to, I don't know, some people do cold readings just like that, boom. But I mean, if you're going to a fair, you're going with a mindset already that you're going to go and you're going to do your best and, you know, and hopefully, you know, help people, right? And so they'll feel that when they come by your booth, or they won't, or they'll just keep walking and they'll keep looking.
That's why I say, don't make it too complicated.
Right. Keep it simple.
Or what about, you know, there's a whole USP thing. So I actually, you know, what do you want to read? Who do you want to read for? And just put that in there.
Your intention.
I do one-to-one readings, or I do group, you know, the stuff that Vincent was talking about. I do corporate events, house parties, phone readings.
Right. Or, you mean in your cards?
Yeah. Or you know, just have the thing that you love to do. Do what you love to do.
I market or advertise solutions-oriented readings. So. Because that's the style.
But couldn't you just keep your business card simple and have a little flyer that you can hand out with it, with everything on it that you do?
That's why I use the postcard.
Postcards are cool. I like that idea, especially if you've got a lineup of events.
Yes,
it's like you're like the tarot rock star.
Yeah.
Well, it does look impressive, even though it's not, but it looks impressive. Yeah.
I think it's awesome.
It does look good.
You're a YouTuber, aren't you? You know, of course you are.
Yeah.
See, you can tell right there. I'm always advertising, huh?
Yeah.
It's marketing.
And you're usually right on it when you're doing the readings. Yeah, up till now you have. So yeah, I like my reading this week.
Well,
time.
I appreciate you always. I appreciate you always commenting. Thank you. You're very kind. I look forward to seeing you there.
It might not be so good next time.
Okay, well, you'll let me know, I hope.
And I look forward to being snarky there. I love it.
Snarky, good. Snarky's good.
Yeah.
Gustavo, did you get your question answered?
I think so.
You turned off his screen.
Lost him.
Okay, he just left.
There he is.
Okay.
He had to take a walk. You're muted, Gustavo. We can't hear you.
You're muted.
You're muted, bud.
Unmute yourself.
Sorry.
There you go.
Okay.
Sorry, I'm here. I just had to take a walk.
Oh.
Yeah, thank you for answering the question. I was wondering further if you think there are kinds of tarot, like Sorcha was kind of like pointing out, if there is, like a better tarot or like a more like an entertaining tarot, a truer tarot.
Yeah,
I don't know what your thoughts are about that.
There are, but it doesn't matter. It's whatever you like. There is no good or bad.
Whatever you do is good.
Let the client determine that. If they want a fortune teller, or if they want a more elite type of tarot reading, I would let the client decide that. And I would, one thing I would stay away from is calling yourself a fortune teller. And I would also I don't like I think there are different levels of readers, different types of readers. And you can be somebody who goes into one type or another type more than another. I don't believe in, like me, just for instance, I don't believe in destiny. I don't believe in soulmates. I don't believe in angel spirits coming and helping me, but that's me. And so I'm not a fortune teller. I can't tell you this is what's going to happen to you. What I am is somebody who tries to show you options that you have to predict your own future. The best way to predict the future is to create it yourself, as far as I'm concerned. But I have coworkers who thinks that there is destiny, who thinks that we're here to learn life lessons and all that, and they do just as well as I do. And so it's up to you, however you want to do it. You'll attract people that like the way your style. There's all sorts of people out there that'll like it, whatever you want to do.
That's right.
And I think I think we all predict every day anyway. So we predict. I say I make predictions. That's what I tell people. I don't see the future. I make predictions. So if you keep doing this is what's going to happen. Or I see you going in this direction. And if you want to avoid that, go do this instead. That's what I do. And so I don't tell, can you see the future? I say I make predictions, just like the weatherman. Weatherman says 80% chance of rain. I can make the same prediction, 80% chance this is what's going to happen. If he can get away with it, so can I.
Exactly. Exactly.
And stockbrokers.
Right. We all make predictions. Everybody here, an hour before this thing happened, you all predicted you were going to be here today. Look you're here. So I mean, I know what I'm predicting what I'm going to do next week. I'm going, next week, Friday, I'm doing this or that. So is it going to happen? Maybe not, but more than likely it's gonna.
Exactly, because you don't know if it's going to happen. You can predict all you want, It's like, yeah, I'm going to go to this concert next weekend and and then you break it down.
And then you break your arm.
And you don't go.
Predictions all the time. We're obsessed with it. Look at football spreads. Look at those guys who make a lot of money with those points makers. Those guys. I see the Bears by 3 points this week against Detroit or whatever. I mean, so I mean, those people make predictions all the time. We make predictions just like the odds guys.
Vincent, I'm predicting that you're going to read that message they've just sent about conceptual blending.
I was just about to say that. I was just about to say, Vincent.
Can you talk about?
Stephen had a question.
Oh, yeah. Sure. Okay, Stephen, I'll talk about conceptual blending.
Can I just say something first? Can I just say something first?
Huh?
Vincent, can I just say something first?
Sure.
Right. What it is that years ago, I used to be an inventor in research and development.
Oh.
And what I used to do, I didn't know what I was doing, but I used to go to, you'd call it shopping mall, and I'd pick 3 items out, and I'd take it back to my office on my desk, and I'd say to myself, am I going to use these 3 items to make this invention better? And then I'd go to bed at night, and I'd wake up in the morning, and I'd invented something using one of those items I'd randomly picked. So I think I was conceptual blending before I even knew what it was until I read your book.
Yes, that's
now I know what it is.
That's
I read your
exactly
book.
what. Yes, Stephen.
And I've got patents in my name. I've invented things by doing that.
Well, that's a sign of genius.
So,
That is, it's what a genius. That's exactly what you're doing, and the mind does work that way if you have enough sense or insight to use it that way. And that's
when I was
what
asleep
you're
at
doing.
night, I'd figure it out and wake up, and I've invented something.
Well,
I used to work about 3 hours a week. I'd invent something on a Monday morning because I went to sleep on a Sunday night.
All hail, Stephen.
I love it.
I was
love
gonna
it.
say,
And you know, you could tell yourself at night, I'm gonna invent something tonight. And yeah, it'll come to you. Or it can very well come to you. But the fact that you just took 3 items out of the mall, out of the shopping mall, and then bring it home, and I'm going to invent something with this. I'm going to use these somehow to come up with ideas.
To better what I'm working on.
Yeah. You took 3 random items and you used them and you conceptually blended or made associations with those 3 items into your invention. And that's exactly and they have nothing to do with your invention.
No.
At least nothing to do with the common sense thinking of it. And that is where you come up with new ideas.
Well, maybe my intuition might have thought that those items could fit in there into what I'm doing.
Well, you analyzed it and you come up with new ideas.
Yeah.
And those new ideas you would have never gotten from your learned knowledge.
Exactly. 3 random objects.
And in order to get out of your learned knowledge thinking, which you don't have an answer for it in there, in order to get out of that, you got to go find some object out of the mall or in your room somewhere or something and put it to it and say, okay, how can this help me? And that's what you did. And that's how
without even knowing what it was. I didn't even know why I was doing it.
See? Innately, you know.
Brilliant.
But there's a reason for it now. Now we understand what conceptual blending is.
That's exactly what it is. And what items, keep the word randomness in place there, because you took 3 random things out of the mall and you brought them home. And what we do as a card reader is we take random cards, shuffle the deck, and put a random card in these positions of our question, and we conceptually blend this card to the question that's been placed with. So we force ourselves to make a connection with this card to where it's placed. Just like you force yourself to make a connection between the random objects to your invention. And that's what we're doing. And that's what you did there is called today conceptual blending. And what we're doing here,
So I was doing this 20 years ago, but I didn't know what I was doing or why.
No. Remember the movie 2001 Space Odyssey?
Vaguely, yeah.
Yeah, vaguely. You're kind of younger than me. 2001 Space Odyssey. I forgot the Stanley Kubrick. Stanley Kubrick directed that film. And in the beginning of it, it starts out the dawn of man. This is supposed to be a space movie. And it shows a bunch of cave people. Remember a bunch of cave people? And they're cavemen. And they're just grunting around, and they're half ape. And they're looking for food. And there's a skeleton of a boar. And they're just a skeleton. And this one ape is kneeling next to it, and he's just picking off pieces of dried meat off what's left of this skeleton, and is picked clean. and he's eating the dried up meat on it. And then there's a couple of bones that fell off the thing, and one was like a bigger bone, a femur bone or something. And he picks it up and he holds it in his hand, and he's thinking, and he's hitting the skeleton with that bone. And then he starts hitting it harder.
He's invented something.
He's invented the club. And then the music starts. And he's a realization, I got a tool here. And he throws it up in the air, and it's going up in the air like this. And then it turns into a spacecraft. And it's all going to the music of Strauss, the spacecraft. And what Stanley Kubrick was saying there, we got that far with spaceflight because we think, like this guy thought it was bone, to make it a club and kill other animals to get meat. And that's conceptual blending. Bone has nothing to do with eating meat. But I'm going to use it to kill things to make meat, get meat for myself. That's conceptual blending. And we've taken it as far as the spacecraft in space flight. That movie was done in the 1960s. We didn't even come up with the word conceptual blending as an actual term in psychology until 1993. So he knew that's how we think. Kubrick was thinking that when he made that movie. And so we knew about conceptual blending, but we didn't have a term for it, and we didn't put it into a science like we did today. Today, it's an actual, you could take classes on it in college, which is what a creative consultant is going to do, because they got to invent new ideas, just like you did with your inventions, going to the mall and finding things that will help you. You want to go somewhere, anything where you can buy nouns. You go to a hardware store and you can find things. Or you can go to a shopping mall, like you said. You can go any dime store.
Well, it was actually a hardware store.
Okay, yeah, the hardware stores.
I didn't know that's what they called it in America.
Okay, so I want to know, what did you invent?
It's to do with lorries.
It was what?
And when you see lorries and they've got no buckles on the sides, the curtains, they've got no buckles on the side. All the buckles are underneath the vehicle. So basically, it's a buckleless curtain sider for lorries. I invented
that was you, huh?
The system. Well, for the place I was working for, their version of it.
Wow.
It had to be painted and whatnot.
That's interesting.
See, that's so cool. You're an inventor. You'd be a great reader because you're used to coming up with new ideas. And that's what you want to do as a reader. The person you're reading, they can come up with common sense ideas too, but they're stuck. Usually a person you're reading is stuck on an issue. They don't have an answer. And they're looking for a solution that they can't see.
Mm-hmm.
And so if you can come up with new ideas on how to see this issue, that's what you're doing. You're inventing a new solution.
Today, I say I've only watched a couple of your videos, but I'm just going through them. And I've saw the one today where you do the 3-card spread, and then you do 6 meanings for the first one, 6 for the second, and 6 for the third.
Okay.
Where you have 6 cards for each one, past, present, and future, and then you randomly take them out. So you're conceptual blending, even with a 3-card brag, the 3-card.
Okay.
Spread.
All right. See, I don't know
which one. Do you know which one I'm talking about? Wait, where you throw the dice, 1 to 6.
Oh, the 216. Yeah.
The 216. That's the one. Yeah.
The 216 is where normally a card spread has random tarot cards placed into positions. What I did with the 216 was made 6 different options for each position. 6 different meanings for each position. So past, present, and future is past would be position one, would be one option. Strengths might be another option for position one. I don't know what the other ones were on there, but there was 6 of them. And then present, huh?
It's in one of your books.
Yeah, I know. I got it. And it's called
I haven't got that book yet.
It's called the 216 because what you've done is you've taken a 3-card spread there. If you got a 6-sided die, one die, you just roll the die for each position. Okay, position 1, roll the dice. Okay, I get a 4. Okay, what's the 4th thing on my list for position 4? Let's say it's whatever, strengths. That's what I'm using for position 1. Then I roll the dice for position 2. I got 6 options there too. So what I'm doing there is randomly selecting position meanings to work with each other, 3 of them for the card spread. Yeah.
Well, it sort of seems a bit like conceptual blending.
It is in a way. Yeah, you could say that. What it is, the reason it's 216, it's called a 216, is because now you've taken a 3-card spread and you've actually made 216 different combinations or variables,
which is forcing you to
you can use
conceptual blend.
Right. I use a 9-card spread as that was an inspiration from, and I do the first 3 as past, present, and future, because I find that breaks the ice and it gives the client something to think about. And then the second line would be strengths, their weaknesses, and opportunities coming in should they wish to choose them. And that takes it a bit further. And then the final line would be what they know, what they need to know now that will help them. And the final one is the outcome. So where they're going, the pathway that they're on. I suppose it's subject to change if they change their mind, but that's where they're at the moment.
I love it.
Yeah, that was a great inspiration for that spread, and it works well, and it gets them their answers, if they are
I'm trying to remember where I even got that. Was it 216 in the radical?
No, it was Essential Tarot. I'm looking at my notes, and it says the 216 came from Essential Tarot, and I also made a note that you did a video on it called "Improving the 3-Card Tarot Spread."
3 years ago, 3 years ago.
Yeah. Improving the 3-card tarot spread.
Okay, all right.
Yeah. See, we keep your stuff close to hand.
Yeah, that's cool. Because I don't know where I don't even know where I got it. You'd think I would know. Okay, Essential Tarot, and now you know the name of the
it must have come to you in your sleep. You invented it.
Yeah, well, I think you know what, and what's so good about that is it shows a lot of variables just for a 3-card spread.
And it sure does. Yeah.
And because and also I like to look at the basic 3-card spread, past, present, and future. How you want to look at that is what kind of attitude you have with that. I like to look at past, present, and future as looking at the past. Okay, you could sit there with the cards and say, okay, this happened in your past. This is what's going on in your future. And this is what's going to happen this is what's going on in the present. And this is what's going to happen in the future. To me, that's boring.
Yeah.
I don't want to know that. But if I look at the 3-card spread, the past, present, and future, just a straight 3-card spread, and I say the past, if my attitude is, what are we going to do to try to make this work, whatever it is we're looking into? And if I throw over for the past, now I'm looking into what in my past have I done, or what's happened in my past that I can recall to that will help me get this thing in the future. What have I done, or who do I know? What experiences are similar to this one? Whatever. Something in my past that will help me get this done. Then if I look in the present, what am I doing right now that will help me? The present. Am I doing the right things? Should I be doing something different? Maybe I'm making things worse. What am I doing right now that will help me with this objective. And then the future is what's possible, what could happen, what can I do, or what can I do in the future? What opportunities do I have in the future that it may make me snag this thing? That's a better way to look at the 3-card spread to me than just saying this happened in your past, this is what's going on in the future, in the present, and this is what's going to happen in the future. I'm not, that to me, that put me to sleep.
Right. And
That's
also,
fatalistic.
well, also when you're looking at the 3-card spread, this is a question. I mean, the past could be like 5 minutes ago, a minute ago. That's the past. So I mean, how far in the past are we looking at? You know, and depending on the individual, because I've done 3-card spreads where I lay down the cards and I'm looking at them, and it's like, okay, yes, the middle is supposed to be the current, what's happening right now, but in the past, you know, it seems like this has just happened like yesterday, or this, and I'll ask the person that's sitting across from me, you know, it's like, so how long have you been dealing with, you know, this situation? And the eyebrows will go up, and it's like, oh my God, well, just I was thinking about that as I was coming up. It's like, okay, cool. So, you know, so it's just kind of interesting to me, because when I first started learning, I was thinking, okay, that's the past, like, you know, the past, and this is the view, this is current, like, and I really think that it just depends on the situation and the person, for the person who's sitting in front of you. Because I mean, the past card might be like 2 minutes ago, or, you know, or it might have been 2 years ago, or it might be a lifetime.
Have you ever done the I Ching?
It also depends on what kind of question it is.
That's what I was going to suggest. It's like, it depends on what the subject is. You know, it's if it's how did I look at the past card as how did I get to this subject, or how did I get to the point where this situation has come up, has arisen. So if it's and that would really affect the time frame.
Yeah, I think that past, present, and future is really just the icebreaker to a precursor. You don't want to dwell on it, you know, as Vincent says, a bit boring really, but it can actually open their eyes and think, yeah, that's really been going on for me. You know, we're onto something here. That past, that resonates with what's going on for me.
Well, you could also take a look at
and
it.
It does, you know, always does. So.
It depends. If you, let's say you're going through a divorce, let's say, are we going to get divorced? That'd be a question you're going to hear a lot. Now your past, present, and future is going to take on a wider range of time. You know, what happened in the past that made this whole marriage start to go south? You know, is there anything
on something like that, Vince, I might see in the past position the 9 of Wands and suggest that, you know, you've been fighting for a long time. Do you even know what you're fighting for anymore?
Yeah, well, that's just it. As long as you're addressing, are we looking at, is the past have anything to do with a solution for the future? Maybe things could be resolved because maybe it was a misunderstanding in the past. Maybe you're holding grudges that you shouldn't be holding anymore. There's all sorts of things in the past that you can look at and say, well, was that important to get so upset about? Or has this been resolved or whatever? But look, you know, you could look at it in some constructive way.
Right.
And then what are you doing in the present for a divorce? Okay. Well, are we talking to each other? No. Are we, what's the attitude of the other person? What's your attitude? How can you help things, maybe try to salvage this marriage? You know, so looking at things that way instead of, oh, I see you two are split up in the past, and right now you're going through the process of planning on getting a divorce. Then more than likely you're going to get a divorce in the future. But the thing is, if the person's coming to a reading for that, then they're concerned. Is this really going to be it? Is this really it? You know, is that what we're going to do? Well, I think it's more valuable information to just try to see if there's any way things can be salvaged. And so that allows you to look at things in a way. Maybe they can't be, or maybe they could be salvaged or still go to divorce, but in a pleasant way where you're still, it's not ugly, you know.
Yeah.
I was
And
just
you're both
thinking
happy.
then that, sorry, that there's the strength, there's the kind of resources from the past that can be used for the future, you know, what worked before and so on. And then I was thinking about what Yvonne said about where it could be something really quite like recent, like now, like the I Ching, the Book of Changes. So the first you do this throw, and then it changes, and then you've got a second reading, and that is as a result of the change that you've gone through from understanding the first reading. So I was thinking about, as a card reader, you know, you're reading some stuff to them, and then they're getting some knowledge from that, and then you've got the possibilities for the future there as well.
Sure. Yeah. Yeah. Right. Exactly.
Hey, can I ask you an off the wall? Can I change the topic here just for a second? I just got a text from someone who does not participate in these meetings but watches them after the fact, wanting to know if in the Vince group 9/23/23 was brought up today.
What?
Does anybody know what that means?
Oh, God, I'm in that group, but I don't really engage with that one.
Okay.
Maybe we need to look at the Facebook.
I just didn't know if there was some significance to.
Not that I know.
9/23 and 23.
And I wrote back and said, what does that mean? And she goes, it's all the buzz. She said that the upcoming date of September 23rd, 23 seems to be buzzing about talk of something happening. Oh, never. Like 9/11. It's like, never mind.
Oh,
sorry.
no.
I should have waited for that answer to come in before I bothered.
Nostradamus.
Has it got something to do with Nostradamus?
Probably.
Well, you could answer her back, saying, no, it's not going to happen.
I said no. No,
Yeah.
it didn't come up today.
Nothing in the numerology.
Yeah. Now 9/24/23, big difference.
What's that? Your birthday?
No, I don't. I'm joking.
Oh, okay.
1924.
Because that would be special.
Yeah, that's a whole different story there.
It's a problem, that group, because we don't really moderate it. You know, I think Mike is.
Well, it wasn't from the group.
But...
It was somebody that she just texted me personally and wanted to know if this had been discussed today. That's probably going to put our group discussion today on her priority list in a different level than I think she's really looking for what's going
here. I have her answer. I have an answer for that.
Okay.
In regards to that question, 10, completion. End of story.
Okay. All right.
Do the math.
The oracle has spoken.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah, right. The spirits are ready to speak.
Well, you got 9, you got 2, you got 3, you got 2, you got 3. Right?
Well, speaking of 9s and 10s, I have always looked at, and I go by the Mary K. Greer Mountain Tarot numerology pyramid, if you will, that analogy that she uses that I just love. But I look at 9s as completion. And I look at 10s as the results of the completion and the restart of the next phase.
Cool.
Yeah, they're 1s, aren't they? Right?
Yeah, I just use because you're right, because a 10 is actually 1 plus 0 is 1, which is a restart. But yeah, I look at 9 as completion and 10 as the results of the completion.
Mm-hmm.
And I think sometimes we make it through a cycle, but we really don't stop for a minute and look to see what have we learned from that cycle, or what did we really get out of that cycle.
The 10 could be the pause, the big sigh after the big push of the 9, and it's done. Stop.
Yeah. Interesting. 9s
There's so many different useful perceptions or perspectives you could take on on the positions or the numerical, like you said, the 10s or the 9s or the 8s. There's a lot of useful ones out there, and they all useful as far as finding answers to questions and how to look at them. And so, yeah, that's good. That sounds really good. That sounds great.
Yeah, well, I don't know. Tell that person 10.
Okay.
Yvonne, I said the oracle has spoken, I went like this. I went, oh, all hail. And I wrote, oh, that's a 10. 10 digits.
See? It's a single number. It's the highest single number that can contain all the other numbers. There is no other higher number that can contain all the other numbers unless you go to 0, that you can just plop them in there. So that in itself gives you, I mean, that is so evident. The rest keep
good. I feel better that
repeating
is completion.
After that, they start repeating themselves. So, I mean, how obvious can that be? That's just so obvious.
I actually think that's quite funny, Greta, because it's like, who needs to hear something over and over again?
Like, see?
And by the way, Yvonne.
Yes, ma'am.
It's D was the one that wanted to know that.
Oh, okay.
Get a
there
special
you go,
kick out of that.
There you go.
Okay.
I love it. Oh, by the way, guys, Pat did send me a message that she said she wanted to be here today, but she had a loss in her family, so she's here with us in spirit. Yeah.
Well, you tell her, if you talk to her, tell her we all said hi, and I hope we see her soon.
Yeah, I will.
Yeah,
I'll definitely do that. But she put that, she asked me to say that to everybody. So
thank you.
Yeah.
Has anybody talked to Mike?
Briefly, we did, didn't we? We had something. We had a conversation, didn't we, in the admin group? There were sightings of Mike.
Sightings of Mike.
Sightings of Mike.
or hearings of
He
Mike.
is well. You see, it would seem that he is well. Anna's not doing too good.
Alive, yeah.
Anna also asked to let everybody know that she's here in spirit as well, but she's just not feeling well.
Oh.
Well, I hope she's feeling better soon.
Yep.
If you do talk to Mike, tell him to try to get rid of the Facebook Vincent Patici. I know he's the one who put it up there. And because I'm never there, and so there's no reason to have it on there. But they're really hard to get rid of those sites once you put them up there. So tell them to get rid of it if you can.
I think they've made it easier. I just cannot. I've never been able to get into Facebook. It's just so convoluted to me.
It's really annoying actually, because we did the conceptual blending group and we asked you about it, Vince, if you were okay with it.
Yeah.
And stuff, and that was before we knew about the Vincent Patici one. And the trouble is, everybody goes to the Vincent Patici one because they know your name, and they don't come to the
I'm never gonna be
bona fide one.
Right.
I don't. Where is it?
Well, there you
well, the one that we
conceptual blending, that's great.
No,
the conceptual blending one is the one that we. The conceptual blending one is the one that we admin for.
Yeah, okay. that one's a good. That's good.
You're in that one.
It's like the Vincent fan page.
Yeah. Yeah, but my name, that one there, you don't need that. I got who's there?
Okay, you guys, everybody have a great month. I will see you from the next location.
Hey, and don't forget to watch the podcast.
Okay.
Don't forget to watch Lynn's podcast.
Okay. Yeah, we love you, Lynn.
What is that? Is that the 19th? What are we doing that 19th?
It's the 18th, I think.
Yeah, 18th or 19th. All right, see you guys.
Okay, take care.
Bye. Safe travels.
Well,
yes.
I'm still around here.
I was just going to ask about that podcast then, but she's gone.
What's that? Yeah. Divine Central.
Yeah, Divine Central, I think. But it's Divine spelled with
D-E, isn't it?
D-E-V-I-N-E.
Yeah.
It's a Catholic surname, Divine, spelled that way. Anyway, beside the point. It's a Catholic surname.
Well,
Irish Catholic, sorry.
Okay.
Bit of useless information you didn't need to know.
Oh no, I'm Catholic. I don't go to church, but I'm baptized Catholic. So
Yeah, I heard about that.
Did you?
No, not really.
Were you there?
I just know I'm baptized Catholic. My sisters go to church every week. They go to church every week.
I have people pray for me, so.
Yeah, that's what they tell
me
you.
Too. Me too.
So I wanted to share with the group something that I'm starting because I think it's fun and because I think it's going to help me get a deeper understanding of the cards. And when I used to teach a class, maybe I mentioned it last time we met, called Myths, Legends, and Symbols in Art, I would give the students guidelines on how to take notes regarding these characters, their original meanings, how their meanings have evolved, and how they present themselves in art, in literature, in music, etc. So it was just occurring to me the other day that maybe I can make a kind of little database for myself based upon the same principle, wherein I would select a card and then think about, what, let's say in popular culture, what individual do I know of that could embody that particular card's general meanings? Or are there any literary pieces or musical compositions or works of art that that invoke that particular archetype? So that's one of the things. And also in terms of other things in pop culture, like for instance, fashion design. I think it was McQueen that did a whole fashion. There have been at least 2 contemporary fashion designers that have done brilliant work designing fashion for women with the tarot. So I'm kind of starting a little list of that with the major arcana and see where it takes me.
Cool.
Great. How do we find you and that what you're doing?
I'll share it with the group. I'll share it with the group. We're meeting in a month, right? I can also put in my email address. I'll put in my email address in the chat.
Cool.
Second Tuesday of every month.
Okay.
Second Tuesday of every month, 12 o'clock Chicago time, CST. Right here.
Yep, I just put my email address in the group chat. Yep.
I'll try and get that down quickly.
Copy. You can also save the chat thing, right?
How do you do that?
Yeah.
I don't know how to save that
I've
either.
never worked that one out,
No, it's like I think it's at the bottom. Wait for it. I've done it before. You know what it is? It's the left hand. It's just not working for me.
I'm not getting exactly what Marie is looking for. For example, you can check out Travis McHenry. He has many decks. They're kind of dark, but in one of his latest one, he calls it Masters, Magicians, and something else. And they're all figures and historical figures who actually represent and activate all the 78, each position in those 78 cards. So
oh my God, it sounds fascinating. So it's Trevor McKenzie?
Travis McHenry.
Travis McHenry, okay.
Yes. It sounds to me that that's what you're trying to do, but instead of using, he said he uses figures that are that might have been hidden, some controversial figures that were hidden. He has Rasputin, he has all these other ones. So it sounds to me that you're just using that same path, but you want to spread it into other kinds of figures, not so much maybe historical, but I don't know. But
I would definitely want to use historical figures. I think that's brilliant. Thanks so much, Gilda, for letting me know that. I'm definitely going to look that up.
Mm-hmm. he's a little dark. There's other ones who have used other ones, figures like women in history and other things like this. I like very much the influence of the Angels Tarot by Borghese or something, and she'll use that particular kind of what you're looking for. She'll use it in the court cards specifically, and she uses existing art, existing fine art and well-known art, and she'll use in the court cards specific well-known personality.
Thanks so much, Gilda. That is hugely helpful. I'll definitely report back to the group and let you know any interesting imagery that I find. I'll show you any interesting imagery if you'd like that I find and any interesting parallels.
What she does, an influence of the tarot, and I believe she worked for a long time for US Games, and then she designed by using existing art. Influence of the angels means there's a little angel somewhere in the card, in each of the 78 cards, which shows you what you're not, where the inner capacity that you're not seeing, it might be located sometimes under the table because you're too busy with the book in your head from Bosch, making calculations and having a ledger book. You're too busy with money, in other words, and the angel is underneath the table. So the little angel is placed at different areas, which actually activate the meaning of the card. We find that's a very interesting deck.
It's funny you mentioned you mentioned Bosch, that with the book on the head, the girl with the book on her head.
Yeah.
I got that picture. I got that picture on the back of my Radical Tarot. Right there. If you could see, I don't know if you could see this, but that's the picture where she's got that book right here on her head.
Yes,
and I wrote some comments about the book, but
yeah. See, it was interesting because it was my niece's birthday, and I pulled out 3 cards for it when it was their birthday, and I sent it to them. Oh, this is what happy birthday, and this is what I got. And I got this answer back. Wow. One of them was that one, meaning, and she's in college. It's obvious to me. I mean, the field was so huge that she's too busy with financial stuff, and the angels underneath. And the second card was maybe the 10 of coins, which had the man was holding the ledger on his hand.
Oh, okay.
Okay, in that. And in the first one, the woman had the ledger on her head.
On her head.
The second, right. So the third one was the queen of something, I forget which queen it was. Old time, a woman who was pro-woman, trying to bring long ago the rights of women. So it was so obvious. She's too busy, with financial stuff, when what she should be gearing is to that which her soul is calling for, to bring forth certain changes and get out of the counting of money, which
so did you say that
really obvious.
Neat. I like
Did you say that the Angels Tarot was by Borghese?
I don't.
Or is it just called Angels Tarot?
Yeah, Influence of the Angels Tarot. It starts with
Influence of the Angels. Okay, got it.
Influence of the Angels. There's many angels tarot around. We found that one interesting, and because I don't know, sometimes they hit it and sometimes they don't. In my estimation, she hit it, and it works, and it just has that little tweak of where's your guardian angel located right now, is trying to bring something out in you that you're not seeing because you're so conditioned. You're so in your conditioning or outer world. You've given your empowerment to the outer world reality that you can't get into what your inner intelligence is trying to bring forth. So it depends. If someone doesn't have the ability to connect that, then the angel is just some little fairy flying around the picture. So, we try.
So many different ways so many different decks and so many different aspects
Mhm.
that spark ideas. It's amazing what's out there.
I want to show the group briefly a deck that I just received that relates to this.
Like, for example, we like the Dali deck. In the Dali deck brings forth a very, very important feature, but we don't go around telling everyone what that is and how they can use their deck to tell all of that. And unless somebody
Salvador
does
Dali.
depth work, they cannot see it. It's just out of their range.
Is that Salvador Dali?
Yeah, Salvador Dali's deck. He's got a
Oh
deck.
God.
Got a red
Okay.
velvet box.
And we must never forget beauty. We like beauty. I mean, if the cards have this, artistic beauty and then colors and arrangement and things, it's always pleasing and welcoming when one uses it. So
Your aesthetic.
that's
You love the aesthetic and the felt sense.
yeah. I have a Venusian quality foregrounded in the chart, so we do appreciate that. We appreciate.
If you're a tarot card reader, you're obsessed with tarot cards, and you're going to buy all the cards that you like. I mean, it's just. I mean, honest to God, it's like you go to a fair or you go to a store and you have already like 50 decks, and you walk in there and it's like if you get out of that store without buying a deck, you've got a strong will.
Yeah,
In my opinion.
after a while, that'll pass. I don't. Yeah, I know. I got that'll pass. Though.
It does pass.
I got
Is it like 25 years it passes? Do you mean?
Yeah.
After 25 years, or
yeah, it takes a while. Takes a while.
If Lynn was here, she would tell you. If Lynn was here, she would tell you that she has half of her decks and her crystals in storage because she couldn't take them with her.
Oh gosh.
Yeah. So I mean, there's a lot of beautiful art.
And also decks become dated in our usage. I used the deck for 20 years and I no longer go to that one. Another one has come forth or that speaks to me and then I incorporate it into what I already know. But it becomes everything that about that becomes already known, and therefore it doesn't have it can be used and is well known, but it doesn't carry a something new. That it doesn't carry not that new is essential, but it doesn't carry the next step of the unknown. So
the new could be in the questions that we ask rather than the deck. I mean, I'm a sucker for decks. I'll admit it. And the only reason I haven't got more than I have is that I refuse to buy picture decks. Decks. I've got a couple, but and now TDM has got popular, so bloody hell, there's loads of them coming out. But what if we had less? If we kind of thought about the pack less, and like Vincent says, we thought more about the questions that we're asking.
Yeah,
what if we got into that instead?
I think you find a lot there. Like you're saying, I think the application is really where we're going to find a lot more helpful insight about what we're doing by focusing on the application itself. And that's why, like I said, that's my next book is going to be about. Because
wait a minute, what did you say, Will? Will said something here.
Will, what did you say, Will?
There is a 0 assigned to the major arcana, the Fool. Are the zeros assigned to any cards? The minor arcana, perhaps with court card?
Not with me, they're not.
Where is that? I can't see it now. I saw it coming up, but I can't see it written down anymore.
Did I not read it?
I got it there on mine.
Okay.
I have a theory about all these, the numbering, but it's still, I haven't written it down.
Well, I don't use 0 in the minor. I don't use the numbering that much anyway.
There's zeros assigned to.
If I might look at a number on one of the cards and when is this going to happen? I might see this card and say, well, in 8 days, you know. So, you know,
I think the answer is no.
I never heard of a zero being interpreted in the minor arcana and anything.
Yeah,
So I would say no.
I would say no.
That's what differentiates the minor arcana from the major arcana.
Yeah, but it's only the Fool that has the zero, and it's from nothingness up till completion, and completion is the universe. It's the world card. So there's only one zero in the whole pack.
How about this though, Mary? That the Fool was a kind of wild card, wasn't it? It sort of had no number. I know it's got a zero on it, but it was in the game. It could be anything or nothing, right?
Yeah, but according to the numbers, when you use the Kabbalah, then the Fool is nothing, and from nothing you take your journey through the major arcana until you come completion, and completion is the world card. So, and then you start all over again with nothingness, with the Fool.
Well, if you pay attention to the world card, you will realize that the zero is drawn into the card. It is right there. And then you see it physically outside of
What the world, do you mean? Are you saying the world there?
The figure zero is drawn in the world card. And
That's a
so
really good
what you're
point.
saying is that from nothing, meaning there is a container which you haven't yet materialized or manifested, and by the time you get to card 21, it is manifested in front of you in the card. You have manifested the objective reality. Or
that's what's meant, though, isn't it? From nothingness to completion.
Did the Fool? Did the major arcana? Did the
completion you can see before it was completed already?
Well, did it ever have a? Did the Marseille deck ever have where there was no number, no zero at all written on the Fool card, just a blank?
Right.
Yeah.
It had no number, didn't it? But I don't know about the. Oh, let's have a look. A very old deck.
I'm looking at an old Grimmett deck right now and just checking to see.
The Marseille doesn't have any number on it. It just is a blank space. And I was going to ask.
Is it on the Fool?
Going to ask theoretically, on the Fool. I was going to ask you theoretically, is the zero? Of course, they're similar, but is the zero, the number zero, with the mathematic applications that it has, is it different from just a blank space? And you see other games where there are chips. For instance, in dominoes, there's this chip which is double blank, and I kind of view it as kind of like the Fool, you know, similar, that you can maybe interchange it for any other card as a wild card origin. Wow. more than a zero, you know. Like, I think the zero concept is a little bit more elaborate, you know, it's more sophisticated.
Here we go. Yeah, right.
Do you read the dominoes like? Sorry,
here's the Fool card.
I've got nothing on it.
Nothing on it, right? There's nothing on the card.
The mate, the Mate.
Yeah.
Huh.
This is a Marseille, and I think the death card doesn't have a title. I don't think either. I don't. It's got a number.
I got that wrong. Yeah, it's got a number, but not a name.
Yeah, it's got a number, but the other majors got. They got. There's
underlying themes which have to do with language and the way that we are trained in the modern era to perceive language, including mathematics and words, and how that came to be, and that is embedded in the tarot.
I guess it's history, so it's historical, right? So they're what, 14th, 15th, and onward century. No, 15th and onwards century.
Historical in your ability to use language, not so much the cards themselves. The cards just manifest that which is already functioning, but we had not we had not created it on paper.
Yeah. Death card has the number, but not the name.
Right.
In the must say.
Yep.
So I'm trying to understand.
I don't think I put a number on my deck. You think I would know? I should check. I don't think I did. Cool.
I'm trying to sort of, I suppose, conceptually blend what the game must say, because it was just a game, with what Gilda is saying, you know, like the historical kind of world, you know, that they were numbered for the game. And then we have our kind of understandings, I guess, and there's the Kabbalah and, you know, these other kind of theories. And I'm trying to integrate all of that. I don't know if I can quite.
You know, I'm listening to a book on tape called The Cloisters, and it's about an art historian who makes this discovery in the cloisters of this tarot card that has kind of a hidden layer of paper that she's able to peel off, and that it proves that originally the cards did have a it's a novel, but that it proves that the cards originally had a divinatory meaning. So I'm only halfway through with it, but it's called The Cloisters. It's a lot of fun. It's a murder mystery.
It's a book.
Yeah.
A murder mystery.
It's a murder mystery. I haven't gotten to the murder part yet. But it's fun, you know, it's fluff, but the premise is interesting.
Okay. The death card.
Well,
and this is the deck that I was mentioning to you that was given to me. It's called Our Tarot. It comes in a beautiful box, and it says a guidebook and deck featuring notable women in history. And so, you know, you open this box, and there's a nice thick, you know, paperback with, you know, information and illustrations.
Okay, yeah.
And yeah, it's really beautiful. I haven't had a chance to work with it yet. And then there are the cards themselves, which are, I'll give you an example of so let's see, as a Fool, let's see if I can quickly tap what they're saying for the Fool. Joan of Arc, 0, the Fool, Joan of Arc. So I'll have to read, you know, so I will have to read why they associate Joan of Arc with the Fool.
Yeah.
That is a very unusual pairing in my, you know,
it is
very unusual.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so too.
Queen of Swords was Queen of Swords would have been Joan of Arc to me, because
absolutely
the Queen of Spades and a deck of playing cards is supposed to be Joan of Arc.
There you go. That makes sense. And this one now for the
it depends on
now for the magician. They put Marie Curie. That makes sense for the magician. Okay. But I totally agree with you about Joan of Arc. Yeah.
Yeah, not the Fool.
Not the Fool.
There's a whole.
There's a whole. This book here has I got the book here. Here, this one here has the Fool as a woman. Young in the Tarot.
Oh, I have that book. Yeah.
They got the girl who tried to shoot Reagan, was it?
That was a guy.
No, it was a woman.
The one that tried to kill Reagan?
Maybe she tried to shoot Ford.
Second.
Maybe. It definitely wasn't Reagan.
Anyway, they got her as the Fool here. I'll get her picture here in a minute. But because it was a stupid thing to do. But you know, I mean,
but the Fool's not stupid.
Here she is.
She's just naive.
What was her name? Squeaky Froman. Squeaky. Here's her picture. Let me see if I can get you up here.
Didn't go off. Was that the gun that didn't go off?
Her. And she tried to shoot one of the presidents. I forgot which one it was. The gun didn't go off. Yeah.
The hat.
And
Was she
she
really
was, I
wearing
think,
that hat?
wasn't she part of Manson's group? Charles Manson, I think.
Hang on, is that the same era? Reagan and Charles Manson. I thought they were the 60s.
Yeah, Charles Manson
I
was in
think
the
was
60s.
69, wasn't he? Wasn't
Yeah,
Manson?
and
Yeah,
Reagan
maybe it
was
was.
80s or
She was part of some group here. I'd have to read it again here, but
that hat though, Vincent. Is that real or has that been like stuck on and the
no, though
on
that was what she was wearing. Yeah, yeah,
Wow.
that's what she was wearing, like a Peter Pan or a something. They're talking
full
about
hat.
here, but Neverland and stuff. But yeah, she was had a screw.
Yeah.
She had a couple of screws loose. President
A
Ford.
funny hat.
She tried to shoot President Ford.
Ford. Yeah,
That's who it
that
was.
would be that time. Yeah, that would be around about that time.
Yeah, 1975, September.
And yeah, and yes, she was from
Peter
the,
Pan.
by the way.
She's
Oh,
what?
She was from what?
She was part of the Manson family.
I thought she was. Yeah, it says it. I
Yeah.
have to read it again, but she must have got out early or something.
Well, she's 74,
She's still alive?
apparently.
Wow.
Yeah.
I wonder how she's doing. Is she here?
Let's see. Things to know.
She was incarcerated in Illinois, I think, for some reason.
I think I accepted her in the Conceptual Blending and Tarot group.
Yeah,
I'm just joking. Sorry.
yeah, sure. Little squeaky.
Come on in, everyone. Come in.
Do you want to
Who was
meet this Thursday?
Who was the famous one that was killed by the Mansons? Was that Jane Mansfield
Sharon
or
Tate.
Marilyn Monroe?
Shannon Tate.
Oh, Shannon Tate.
Yeah,
Okay,
Sharon Tate was killed by Manson.
Yeah.
Or by Manson's group.
Yeah.
Roman Polanski's wife, wasn't it?
Well, you'll be
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
And she was 8 months pregnant, I think.
You'll be
Yeah.
glad to know
Yeah.
that, Squeaky now lives with her boyfriend in upstate New York.
Okay, all right.
Squeaky.
Yeah.
That's
That means we're neighbors.
She was incarcerated with the same. We had a mayor next door to us here, Cicero. And Cicero has always been in Cicero's known in the Chicago area. It was an Al Capone hangout, and ever since then, it's just always been southeast side of Chicago, southwest side of Chicago. We're right next door to it. Berwyn's right next door to Cicero. And the mayor was a woman, and she was in her husband was mayor, and then he died, and she took over as mayor, and then she played around with the books of Cicero, and she was taking money, so they arrested her, and that was about, I don't know, 20 years ago. But she's out of jail now. She was incarcerated the same place as Squeaky from. I remember it was in the paper. They were in the same federal penitentiary. So Squeaky just got out about probably 20 years ago or so.
Yeah, and she had originally been sentenced to life, so I guess she must have behaved herself while she was there.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah.
Strange.
Manson's dead now, isn't he?
Yes.
I thought he was, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, he just died recently. In the last 10 years or so. But
he must have been old.
Well, he did that in 69. He was probably in his 20s there. So yeah. He might have been 30. He might have been 30. So yeah, he died an old guy. I remember he tattooed a swastika on his forehead in prison. In prison, he did that. That's an intelligent guy, you know. Make friends. You know, so yeah, gotta go places. That guy.
But you had to assign a tarot card for Manson, what kinds of cards would the group feel would be appropriate?
For
The
Manson?
devil.
The devil.
The devil. The devil.
No,
Definitely.
I wouldn't put Manson for the devil.
I would say the tower because
The tower. Yeah.
Chaos.
I agree.
God.
A
I
5.
don't know if I
or
would give him
something.
any card.
Or a 10.
Yeah,
an ending.
exactly.
He wouldn't rank a card with me. I wouldn't even give him a card.
Yeah, that one was just like
The
what
devil
is-
would be-
He was definitely deaf with his size clearing up everything up.
Oh,
That's what he was doing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He didn't do the killings though. He didn't kill any. I think he's the one who he talked to everybody else.
He
to do it.
organized.
Yeah, he
Yeah, but he
organized.
organized it. Yeah.
Right. He masterminded that. So even though he didn't actually do it, I think that I would tend to associate him with the death card because it was all about death.
Yeah. He organized the whole place, the whole thing. Yeah.
But then again, death is renewal. So is it really the death card?
Or he was about also false beliefs, right? I don't know, talking
That's
to
true.
people and,
Yeah.
and persuading,
great point.
persuading them.
Well, his energy,
Yeah.
his energy is definitely the devil for being able to get people to do that for him. And
Yeah.
Definitely.
but,
definitely.
but
In
I-
conjunction with in conjunction with the moon, eh?
I'm convinced he doesn't rank a card.
With the moon.
no, he don't rank a card.
In the influence of the angels, they use Machiavelli as one of the court cards. And so whenever I get the Machiavelli, it's like, okay. So it's similar to what we're talking about, assigning one to Manson. Machiavelli was really something, but multifaceted, so you can take it whichever way, but it still carries that connotation.
You know, I thought I was picked up once by Gacy. Remember John Wayne Gacy?
What?
You ever hear of him?
No.
Yes.
John Wayne Gacy?
Mm-hmm.
He killed like 40 or so young boys. He was in Chicago area, and he was at the time when I was young, and I used to hitchhike all over the place. So I was about I was probably 13. I don't think I wasn't any older than that. Maybe I was 12. I probably was 13. I remember this guy, he picked me up, and I don't know where I was going, but he picked me up. I was hitchhiking, and he had this classical music going in his car, which I thought was really weird, you know, and I was on the north side then. I was a couple towns from where Gacy lived.
Jesus.
And then after a while, he's driving down side streets to where we're going. I don't know why. But after a while, and he's got this classical music going. He was built like Gacy, and what now that you know, and he reached over and he put his hand on my hand. So at the next stop sign, I bolted out the door.
Thank God.
Right out. You didn't wear seatbelts back then.
Yeah.
He stops at the stop sign.
Jesus.
And the last thing I remember heard him say was, "What are you doing?" By the time he was finished saying that sentence, I was out of the car.
Thank goodness.
Good.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow.
You're lucky he didn't have the locking
lock
on his door.
Yeah, no, they didn't. Yeah, right. They
didn't have that then.
And they didn't
Yeah.
have that, and they didn't have no, they had the post on the doors then, you know.
Yeah.
And he killed, I think he had like 40 kids' bodies in his crawl space.
Ooh.
Oh, yeah.
He was a clown too. He was a clown for parties.
Eek.
Yeah, creepy.
So I don't know, but I might have been. Might have been one of those kids.
Wow. How different. Can you imagine like all the stuff that you've done and then you've drawn us all together and that wouldn't have happened?
Right. Yeah.
I mean, you know, aside from the fact you'd have had a horrible end, which would have been, you know, tragic.
Yeah.
I'm being, I'm being fairly selfish here and thinking, wow, what about us?
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
Well, that's why he bolted.
Well, that's
Thank God.
Yeah.
That was your That was your gut again.
Yeah, well, when he put his hand on my hand.
Yeah, that's gross.
Yeah. The classical music was weird anyway.
Right. Yeah. That wasn't enough.
I didn't even know they had a channel with classical music back then. But I remember he was
that was the 60s.
This was in the 60s, yeah.
Wow.
This was in the late 60s, probably 68, 67.
I got a question. Did you continue hitchhiking after that?
Yeah.
Of course you did, yeah.
Train, hop freights, and a hitchhike. Yeah.
You were very good at jumping out of cars.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I didn't. Well, he didn't get arrested until early 70s. I don't know when he got arrested, but it was early. I think it was early. I don't remember when he got arrested, but it was around that time.
Wow.
And he was still out on the loose when I got picked up from, if it was him. Might have not been. It might have just been some weirdo. But it was a weirdo no matter what.
Yeah.
It was a weirdo.
Kidding. Wow.
But anyway, it's still been a murderous weirdo, just a different murderous weirdo.
I'm glad.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Right.
Nowadays it's a lot more difficult to tell the weirdos.
Yeah, well, it's why people don't hitchhike anymore. You don't hitchhike. Today you wouldn't
everything
hitchhike.
Is part of society, and they can lock the car from their door.
Right.
So
you don't see people walking down the street with their thumb out anymore, though. You don't see them.
You used to. In the 60s.
We do in
60s
England.
and 70s you did.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and nice people pick you up too, you know.
Yeah. We see it in the UK. There's still people hitching.
Do they?
Not so many, maybe, but yeah.
You don't see too much of that. I think it's illegal actually in Illinois.
It's I think it is illegal.
Wow.
Yeah.
Here in this state as well. Yeah.
What are you supposed to do if you've got no money and you haven't got a ride?
Walk.
Uber, damn it.
Uber.
You're
supposed to
walk. You have no money.
Well, that's true. Well, then maybe you don't need to be going anywhere. Just saying.
Well, that is very, I don't know, wealthist of you, Yvonne.
Just kidding. I've been on too long. I need to go.
Too.
All those Tibetan people, they walk endlessly all around the country. Walk.
I used to jump on freights. I know I used to, because they used to stop. I knew where they stopped. So they were coming in slow by me. And I knew they were stopping a couple towns over. I used to go to Park Ridge. And that's where, Niles, Park Ridge area, that's where I would get off. And they were crawling around. I was in Mount Prospect. And, well, anyway, you don't know the towns I'm talking about. But at one time I got off, though, the wrong side. I jumped off. And another freight was coming full speed the other direction. And the track's right next to me. And I jumped off, and so I'm in between these two freights. I remember this, and this one's honking his horn. He's coming. He's honking. I just laid down between the two trains, between the both of them, and hoping something was coming out the side, could have hit me or nothing, and it was okay. But yeah,
you're like a cat with 9 lives.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
I know. You think of that today, you think, whoa, Jesus. You know,
so how many lives do you have left?
Probably one.
Be careful. It's a good job you slowed down. We hope you slow down.
Before we go, I wanted to show you guys this. Someone was talking about Mary Kay Greer, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so this is the book that I have. This is the book that got me.
Yeah.
And I think I've shown it before, right?
Yeah.
I like her.
Okay, well, check it out. I was looking at it, while we were chatting and all that, and I looked it up online to see, because someone had said it's no longer in print.
No.
And,
Okay.
There's one that's available, $271.
Oh my gosh.
And then there was another one that's supposedly used, and that was $161. So
my gosh.
And you know where I got this? I got this at a library sale back in 1987. It was in some little book town, where people didn't like the idea of tarot. Of they're probably
Oh gosh.
So it was sitting on the sidewalk in this pile of books that nobody wanted, right? And I walked up and I'm like, what? Oh, hey.
Yeah.
I think I paid $2 for the damn book.
She made 3 books that size. Tarot for Yourself, Tarot Constellations, and Tarot Mirrors, I think. And I had all 3 of them. And I don't have them anymore. I think I got part of one.
Did you? Is that your book that's on sale on eBay? Is that you?
Yeah, no. I think I got like half of one book left.
It's really,
up in a
it's really a neat book.
It is. She was good.
You know, you can look it up. I mean, it is online to look at, but it has it's very cool. It talks about the tarot, it talks about constellations, astrology, numerology. I mean, everything. It's all wrapped up in this thing. And
Ron, could you show us a sample page?
Sorry?
Could you show us a sample page from the book? Could you open the book and show us?
Sure. Let me.
Sample page of how it's laid out.
You're asking a lot.
With one hand. With one hand.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Oh no, you've got a you've got a bad arm.
No, never mind.
Oh no, because I didn't realize. I'm sorry, I didn't realize.
It's okay.
I like a challenge. I like to be challenged. Yeah.
Oh wow.
Can you even
Let's see?
Yeah.
Oh,
kind of hard.
The Aquarian tarot.
The Aquarian.
That's the Aquarian tarot.
She uses all sorts of decks in that
Is that
book.
the Burt Reynolds one?
It's kind of hard to focus. I'm sorry.
No, we got the idea. Thank you.
Yeah, it's you know, this book of mine wouldn't be worth 2 cents because, you know, part of it's have come out, you know.
Oh, you can glue that back.
Yeah, probably could, but it's just but I mean, I've written all over it because it has work stuff in it, and
well, don't ever get rid of that.
Yeah, no, I can't get rid of it. It's one of those books that and then there's one section in here that I thought was kind of neat. Let's see if I can get it.
Get some 2-sided tape and take a strip of it, put it in the spine, and just stick that piece back in there. You'll be fine.
Okay, this part.
There's YouTube's on it on mending books.
There you go.
That's right.
And some of them are ASMR ones that you can go to sleep with. So yeah, maybe just if you want it to do it, don't do the ASMR.
Don't get dizzy. I'm going to grab the camera here. So
all right.
Our Sorsha is our expert YouTuber.
I just watched too much of it. It's Vincent's fault. He started me off.
It's backwards.
He made me do it.
No.
Can you guys read it, or is it backwards for you?
Yeah, no, it's clear.
Yeah, it's the right
you
way
can
around.
read it. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So this is the year chart where you do the math and you can figure out like, okay, when you were born, you know, if you were born in 1970, it has your soul number.
Oh.
Yeah, I mean it's pretty cool. It's too bad it's
Numerology books have all of that. Personality, life path.
Yeah, it has all that jazz.
Yeah.
But
well,
yeah.
I'm gonna have to button it up, but I'm gonna look here at the date. I just know it's the second Tuesday of the month, which would be next month will be the 10th of October.
October 10th.
October 10th. And this was fun.
It was.
It's always fun. It's always fun. And I hope everybody has a good month. And we'll do it again then.
I wanted to say something about the Fool.
Okay.
That nobody has brought up.
All right.
I came across the writing, you know, in the historical. When you start digging up about tarot, you will find all these. It did start in Italy, and after Triumph, a parade that used to go. I mean, that's all featured in the major arcana, and the Fool was the last card, and it represented spring. So even though there's a lot of other interpretation that have been layered onto it up to now. It was a card of promise, a card of something new being available to come. So one can interpret that the Fool has that novelty of it. So that's a definition I had not come across, and I thought
that's a nice one. I like that. I like it.
I love that.
The last card.
The Fool is a cool card. I like the Fool card.
It's a very cool card. It's one of my favorites. Yes.
Yeah.
Peter Pan.
Sometimes it's looking to the right and sometimes to the left, but it moves forward is the last card. So it represents, when it's placed in the last card, it represents new beginnings. If it represents at the beginning, it also represents some kind of new trajectory. So it ties in the whole circle.
You never know where he's coming.
So that's the circle. That's another definition of it. Is much deeper to understand and to note, but it's the in between, which is a container, which allows something to happen. Now you can say I'm jumping off a cliff, or all these other things that we can add anything we want to it. But when we start stripping, I like someone mentioned about, I think it was Marie, about stripping. When you start stripping and you realize where it originated, then all the different definitions, like a mandala, are available to you.
Another circle.
Well, we can end it on a wonderful insight about the Fool card from Gilda. Thank you for that, Gilda. And
you're very welcome.
We'll have to just think about the Fool card for a month or so, and till the next meeting.
Are we going to act like the Fool for a whole month?
Yeah, let's be fools.
Why not?
let's try to do something. Let's all try to do something foolish this month.
How about
Let's come up with a Fool. Let's come up with a character for next time that we think embodies the Fool.
Okay.
So many nowadays.
Exactly. So many to pick from.
A lot of fools out there.
Oh yeah. This is an easy assignment.
They come out of the card. There's so many of them. They come out of the card.
See, okay.
Bad rap.
We'll see if we come up with the Fool of the Month next month.
That's a good one. Fool of the month.
Fool of the month. All right. Sounds good.
Thank you, everybody.
Thanks for coming.
Thank you. Thanks,
care.
Marie.
We'll
Thanks,
talk
everyone. Thanks.
Okay.
Bye. Bye.
Love to see you all.
See you later.
Love you.
See you
Bye.
later.
Bye. Love you.
Bye-bye.